Hi, this is Peter Propp. Welcome back to 10 Minute Strategy. This is part 2 of the interview with George Eberstadt from TurnTo Networks. Timer just started. And George, thanks for all the info on TurnTo and the experience that you give consumers. Let's talk a little bit about the retailers that you are targeting.
Yeah, sure. So,
You just went blank. Oh, there you are. Oh my gosh.
yeah, I can give you a little history. When
That'd be
we
great.
started, we didn't have any particular vertical type of retailer in mind. We figured we'd cast a broad net and see, what segments responded, and then focused in on that. And what we found is that the response is very broad across the retail spectrum.
Hmm.
We've got a decent presence in electronics, which is a natural category. We've got a good presence in online watches and jewelry,
Hmm.
home furnishings and garden. We've got quite a number of stores that use pet supplies is
Okay.
another category. So it's been, I'm leaving out a bunch more. I mean, the gifts and food items. Um, from a business perspective, it was exciting to see that the categories that our solution works in ended up being pretty broad.
That's
And
good.
I'd also add, one of the key metrics, obviously in online retail, is the average order value. So we have, watches and jewelry sites, a site that makes custom furniture that sell in the, multi-thousand-dollar average order value.
Hmm.
And then we have two of the largest online sellers of cell phone accessories
Hmm.
that sell in the, teens of average order value. And both seem to be getting value out of the system.
Interesting. I wanted to touch on one of the areas you mentioned in terms of the way your system works. Um, as a consumer, I'm going to get value from TurnTo because I'm going to get to latch on to my friends' opinions and their know-how. And I guess the TurnTo is who am I going to turn to for advice?
Right.
Is I guess
Yes.
it took me a while to figure out what TurnTo meant, um, but I got there. Uh, but if I have an expertise, say in home audiovisual recording, which I may or may not have, um, I have bought some equipment and I've done some online stuff and I've let people know who I am and I've responded. Does that profile information about me, does that cross from retailer to retailer? Say you had three AV computer sites, or one AV site, one computer site, and something else that sold peripherals or something. Would my expertise follow me from site to site, or is it for each individual retailer?
So one of the rules that we have to follow because of the way our is set up
Hmm.
is to make sure that whatever data an individual retailer is providing us with is being used only for the benefit of that retailer. So,
Interesting.
we're just an application provider. We are not selling our the data that we collect to third parties for advertising purposes. We just use that data to power the applications that help the retailer that gave it to us. Um, so within, following that rule, when the system is running on the site of an individual merchant, we keep things very siloed. But I'll, give you a glimpse into our product roadmap,
Hmm.
which is that there are people out there like, the way you're describing yourself who have areas of expertise and love to be a resource to many people.
Hmm.
And where we're heading is building facilities that let those people who want to say, I have a broad category expertise and I love answering questions. I love
Hmm.
writing reviews. I love helping people who need help. Connect with people broadly, across our whole network who have questions or need help within that category.
Interesting. So, like those Amazon reviewers that had all the followers and ratings, that might be someone eventually you might have ratings and whatnot for that sort of individual.
Yeah, I don't want to be too specific
I
about the
understand.
roadmap, but
That's cool.
it'll be a little different than that.
I'm with you. I don't mean to push you on that. So let's talk about the ideal consumer. I'm sure you've done a lot of research on the demographic of the people that are going to get the most value from a turn to additive experience, a widget being on a site. What are you finding? What did you see in terms of demographics?
Sure. I think there are two big variables as far as the person themselves. The big thing is how big their friend network is.
Mm-hmm.
We actually support using email address books as well as Facebook. So, if you are searching for a few dozen friends, the likelihood of finding a match is lower than people who put in their entire Outlook book, which we actually support Outlook import,
Uh-huh.
and are searching for thousands of friends. So, that just affects how well the system works. But the other big thing I think is not so much the type of individual, but the type of purchase they're in the middle of. If you know what you want. You've already done your price research, your item research. You've come to the site, and it's just, give me the item and let me get out of here.
Hmm.
That's not somebody who's going to take the time to
Right.
engage with TurnTo. The shopper that finds value in TurnTo is the shopper that's still doing research, isn't sure quite what item they want, has
Hmm.
questions, maybe about the merchant, maybe about the item. That's someone in a stage of the purchasing process where TurnTo can really help.
Right. Right. And but in terms of, have you collected any demographic info on men versus women, age brackets, stuff like that, of your usage
Um,
so far?
Yeah, I think our data looks a lot like the conventional wisdom, but it has I mean, t teen girls spend a lot of time discussing certain categories of
Hmm.
purchase, and so that's obviously a type of purchase
Right.
where the system is useful. But what's really going on there is those are highly researched, highly discussed purchases.
Hmm.
So it's equally true in your video camera example. If it's a middle-aged guy who wants to get just the right
Hmm.
video camera, he's engaged in the same process that that teenage girl is,
Absolutely.
looking for fashion.
Right. 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 I can imagine autos could be a really good category.
Yeah, we haven't worked in autos yet, but I agree it's a good category.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. Um, Excellent. So, well, George, this is really fun. I really enjoyed the discussion. And clearly, you guys have spent some time working on it. How long did it take you from concept to where you are today?
We spent about a year working on the system before we released it. So,
Hmm.
from concept to launch. Um,
And how long did it take
and
you?
then,
How long
yeah.
pre-concept were you to develop the concept?
The concept came out of some volunteer work that I was doing for an environmental group that I'm involved with,
Oh,
where
neat.
I was helping them build their community functions, and wanted. I'm a fan about the group. Of the group. My idea was if anybody comes to their website, this is the Earthwatch Institute, earthwatch.org. If anyone comes to earthwatch.org, they should see that I'm a reference they can turn to about the organization, especially if it's my friends.
Hmm.
And I've got a few thousand digital friends, and maybe half a dozen of them would know that I'm a resource they can turn to if they had a question. And then along the way I thought, hey, this isn't just for Earthwatch, this is for anyone who sells anything online.
Right. Right. Interesting. So pre-concept, you took you say 2 to 3 months once you sort of decided that you were going to do it before you could get your funding going. How did that work?
Well, there are plenty of long showers where I'm turning over the idea in my head, and my wife's saying, "How long are you going to be in there?"
Right.
Um, but so yeah, there's the whole ideation stage. Then there was about a year of getting all the pieces in place and getting the first version built, and then we've been learning continuously ever since. So
Right.
the system looks significantly differently today than it did when we launched, and we're very close to announcing some major new functionality that'll make it look even different.
Excellent. So you've been since launch. You've been out how long?
The official launch was at the demo conference in September. So about 2 years ago, so 2 years we've been live in the market.
Excellent. Well, when you have your new function, maybe we can have you back on and we can talk about some more. I really enjoyed our discussion. I appreciate you taking the time. And if people want to learn about you, they should go to yes,
TurnToNetworks.com.
turn2networks.com. TURNTO, not TWO. TURNTO networks.com. George Eberstadt, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, take care.